Hey Daddy-O, I am going to read you The Wolf and the Seven Kids, and I hope you like it and feel better soon. There was once upon a time an old goat who had 7 little kids, and she loved them with all the love a mother could have for her children. One day she wanted to go into the forest and fetch some blackberries and mushrooms for their dinner, so she called her 7 children to her and said, "Dear children, I am going into the forest. Be on your guard against the wolf. If he comes, he will devour you all, skin, wool, and everything. The wretch will disguise himself, but you will know him at once by his rough voice and his black feet." The kids said, "Dear mother, we will take good care of ourselves. Go without any anxiety." The old one pleaded and went on her way with an easy mind. It was not long before someone knocked at the house door and called, "Open the door, little children. Your mother was here, and she has brought something back with her for each of you." But the little kids knew that was the wolf by the rough voice. "We will not open the door," they cried. "You are not our mother. She has a soft, pleasant voice, but your voice is rough. You're the wolf." The wolf went away to a shopkeeper and ordered that he give him a great lump of chalk, and he ate this, and it made his voice very soft and sweet. Then he came back, knocked at the door, and called, "Open the door, dear children. Your mother is here and has brought something back with her for each of you." But the wolf had laid his black paws against the window, and his children saw them and cried, "We will not open the door. Our mother does not have black feet like you. You are the wolf." And the wolf ran to the baker and said, "I have a sore paw. Rub some dough over them for me." And the baker was terrified of the wolf, so he did as he was asked. And the wolf ran to the miller and said, "Strew some flour over my feet for me, or I will eat you." The miller was terrified and decided to make his paws pure white for him. As the miller was afraid, it is truly the way of mankind that one acts in a certain way when they are afraid. The wretch went for the third time to the house and knocked at it and said, "Open the door for me, little children. Your mother has come home and has brought something for every one of you." And the kids cried, "Show us your paws so we may know if you are our mother." And the wolf put his paws at the window, and the kids saw that they were white, and they believed all he said was true and opened the door. But who should come in but the wolf? The kids were terrified and tried to hide themselves. One sprang under the table, the second in the bed, the third into the stove, the fourth into the kitchen pantry, the fifth into a cupboard, the sixth under a washing bowl, and the seventh jumped into the case of the grandfather clock. But the wolf found them all and used no great ceremony, one after another, swallowing them down his throat. The youngest, who was hiding in the clock, was the only one the wolf did not find. When the wolf had satisfied his appetite, he walked off and laid himself down under a tree in the green meadow nearby, and fell fast asleep. Soon afterwards the old goat came home from the forest. Oh, what a sight she saw! The door stood wide open, the tables, chairs, and benches were thrown around, the washing bowl was broken to pieces against the wall, and the quilts and pillows had been pulled off the bed. She sought her children, but they were nowhere to be found. She called to them one after another by name, but no one answered. But when she called out the youngest, a soft voice replied, "Mother, I'm hiding in the clock case." She opened it and took the frightened kid out, and he had told her that the wolf had come and eaten all his brothers and sisters, and you may imagine how the goat wept over her poor children. In her grief she went out, and the youngest kid went with her. When they came to the meadow, there lay the wolf by the tree and snored so loudly that the branches were shaking. She looked at him on every side, and saw that something was moving in his gorged belly. "Oh, heaven!" she said, "is it possible that my poor children can still be alive?" Then the kid ran home and fetched the scissors and a needle and thread, and the goat cut open the wolf's stomach, and hardly had she made one cut that all the little kids thrust their heads out, and when she cut further, They were able to climb out one after another, and were all still alive, and had suffered no injury, for in his greediness the wolf had swallowed them whole. What rejoicing there was! They embraced their dear mother and jumped like a tailor at a wedding. The mother, however, said, "Let us find some big stones, and we will fill the wicked beast's stomach with them while he is asleep." The 7 kids dragged stones hither with all speed, and put many of them into his stomach, as many as they could get in, and the mother sewed him up once again in great haste, so he was not aware of anything, and never once stirred. And when the wolf at length had had his fill of sleep, he got on his legs, and the stones in his stomach made him very thirsty. He went to a well to drink, but when he began to walk and move, the stones knocked against each other, and he cried, "What rumbles and tumbles against my poor bones? It is those 6 kids, but it feels like big stones." And when he got to the well, he stooped over to drink, and the heavy stones tilted and made him fall in, and he drowned miserably. And the 7 kids saw that. They came running and danced around, crying, "The wolf is dead, the wolf is dead." And they danced for joy around the well with their mother, and they lived happily ever after. And that is the end of The Wolf and the 7 Kids, and I hope you loved that story, Daddy. Love you.